Thank
It's
you,
a
Mr.
balancing
Hoyer.
act.
Thank you, Mr. Hoyer. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from New York and the vice chair of this committee, Mr. LaLota, for any questions he may have in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I get to my questions, I'm going to yield a minute of my time to Mr. Clapp.
Thank you. I'll keep this really brief. I appreciate Mr. Hoyer's thoughts. I would point to the Biden administration who willfully did not listen to the Supreme Court when it came to student loan programs, among other things. The district judge's jurisdiction is in the title itself. It's a district judge. And the idea that they can have these federal injunctions that limit the president's executive authority that's clearly given him in the Constitution is well beyond the Constitution and should be dealt with by this Congress, including impeachment.
Thank you. Judge St. Eve, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for being with us today. You mentioned earlier the increased prosecutions tied to immigration crimes, including illegal reentry and cartel-related trafficking. Your Honor, do you believe we need more immigration judges in this country?
We probably do. That's outside of Article 3 and outside of my specialty. I get appeals from the Board of Immigration after they've gone through immigration judges, but in terms of our budget, that is outside of my expertise.
You have 23 years on the bench.
23 years on the bench,
District
but-
courts, you're now a Circuit Court of Appeals judge, pretty prestigious, must come with a ton of experience. Just as a matter of judicial efficiency, supply and demand concepts, a lot of immigration court cases coming before our courts. Would we be able to dispense with them more expediently if we had more judicial staff?
Yes, what I see in appeals is they get backed up because of the volume going through immigration. So yes, from a pure efficiency standpoint, more immigration judges would be able to help process the immigration proceedings.
And based on your 23 years' experience on the federal bench, what's the consequence of judicial inefficiency, specifically with respect to not being able to dispense with some of these immigration cases?
It clogs up the system. The delay, you see some things that take years to complete that backs up everything behind them. So, and it's expensive.
Sure. So let's talk about asylum for a moment. My understanding is roughly 3 of every 4 asylum claims are adjudicated in the petitioner's, against the petitioner's request. That 3 or 4 don't qualify for traditional asylum. And yet, the standard of this country has been, at least under the Biden administration, when somebody claims asylum at the border, Biden paroled them to the interior of the country pending their immigration case. It takes years often for that case to be heard. So isn't it a consequence of a judicial inefficiency, those years that it takes to get to those cases, these folks, 3 or 4 who don't ordinarily qualify for this, isn't the consequence you have a bunch of folks in this country who are not really here under the authorities traditionally granted under asylum?
It's hard for me to generalize like that and say it's because of judicial inefficiency. I don't know, some of the appeals that I see, there are lots of extensions requested by the lawyers. There are extensions requested while you're waiting to get a lawyer. So I think it's hard to make a general statement that everything could be blamed on judicial inefficiency.
I'm surely not blaming everything on it, but I would posit that you have a lot of folks in this country who feigned asylum on their way in and took advantage of the system that was laid out to them, probably not fault of their own. The door was wide open. They got paroled into the interior country. A lot of them found their way to New York where they got the free hotels and the health care, and it was an incentive to get there. What I'm offering is, if we had a quicker judicial system, more judges to dispense with these cases, we can get to the point of the game where, okay, you don't qualify for asylum, now you got to go back home. So my question, Your Honor, is what is the judiciary doing to get to a proper staffing?
So for staffing for us, and again, immigration is not within the budget request that I'm here testifying about today, but in terms of staffing, we have work measurement formulas based upon real statistics of what our caseload is. And the staffing we request that's in our salaries and expenses account is based upon those work measurement formulas and what our anticipated workload is and what the anticipated caseload is. And that's what we base our budget on in our request.
Great. Real quickly, with a few seconds I have remaining, with respect to the border district courts, Are they getting the judges and the staffing they need, or are we stretching existing personnel too thin?
We are definitely stretching existing personnel too thin, and I think in addition to the staff, the court staff and the staff in the clerk's offices, there's probation and pretrial. And at the border states, when you have a lot of defendants who are coming through, that really stretches the resources of the pretrial services officers and the probation officers.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your feedback is valuable to us. We appreciate it. I yield.